What's up, everybody? Welcome to our real estate journey. This is Eric. Video number 2 of our bathroom remodel. And as you can see, if you happen to watch that first video, looks a little different today. Um, this took us a couple days to demo to this point, just for the fact of trash. We're here in a condo association, so we don't have a dumpster. It's our own private trash cans and can't really hold a whole heck of a lot. So it took a little bit. So if you did watch the first video, and then you may recall what our plan was originally. This corner shower was here, and we were going to do 5-foot shower, walk in here, and then leave the towel linen closet here. We were going to leave it there and go back to a 60-inch vanity and center off the sink. So we abandoned that idea mainly because right where this is, here's where it went right here. This was like, what is that? I think it was like 32, 33, somewhere. Actually, I wrote this down. 32, right, almost to the end here. And I just hated the way that looked. And you can reference the first video again if you don't recall what I'm talking about. It was just open shelving. This place was built in 1995, which is crazy to say. It's 25 years ago already. Anyway, I didn't like it. So I did everything I could, coming up with different measurements, trying different vanity sizes. You see all these markings here on the floor, different measurements, playing around. Actually, when the drywall was still up, I was drawing different layouts and ideas. So ultimately, what we decided to do, we were trying to keep the work to a minimum, obviously. This is going to be expensive. It's always expensive to do. But we were trying to do the least amount of major work, and I mean electrical and plumbing. So we really were hoping to keep this toilet. We're going to change toilets, but keep this where it was. But we realized if we went with a 5-foot shower here, that would have to be turned. And then this plumbing would have to move over to here. And we're like, well, okay. If we're going to get into major plumbing, let's just do it exactly the way we want it. Let's make it look right. But when you have two different opinions trying to decide on anything, you're going to get, you're not always going to get a smooth, what's the word I'm looking for here? The conversation is not always going to go well, and the decisions are made quickly, and there are no problems or differences of opinion. So my better half, she wanted to now run the shower all the way across, and then over here just wall it up like it was and go with the vanity here to the wall. And if you can tell, this is not a very big bathroom, but it is almost 8 feet across. That's a huge shower. You would keep the plumbing over on this side, so that would save a little bit of headache of having to move it over here. But ultimately, you would have 8 feet, 7 feet of a base, and then a foot for a floor. I mean, you could even do 18 inches, or I'm sorry, for a bench. You could even do 18 inches if you wanted to. But still, man, what a monster shower. I'm big. I'm not that big. And she's tiny. So, anyway, after doing all these measurements, figuring out, trying to figure out the best possible layout, we did decide we're going to do the 5-foot here. And the reason we stuck with 5 is because of me. I'm picky. I want a seat in my shower. If you're going to do a walk-in shower, just do it the way you want it. I like having a bench, and that's what we're gonna do. So, gonna do a 5-foot shower here. Comes out to this line right here, plus a little bit for the wall, and we're gonna do like a knee wall, and then just do the glass. We're gonna do glass here down to the half wall or knee wall, and then put the door over here. And that was an issue too, is just determining, well, if you go with a 60-inch vanity, it comes all the way over to here. And yeah, I'm really smart not wearing shoes in a construction area. Again, I'll never claim to be the smartest brick in the chandelier. So anyway, if we went with 60, then the door swing on this thing would most likely hit this no matter which direction you went, unless you went with like a 24-inch door. And that just looked, to me, of all the things, all the pictures we looked at and places we visited and looked at what they had in stock, it just looked a little goofy being that small. You could do a double. One of the salesmen mentioned doing a double door, both like a 24, and one would kind of open up over to here, and another one open here, and just didn't like that. Another thing we came across is codes. So I don't know about where you're from, what kind of codes you have there. All I know is here in Ohio, we found out that for a toilet, the code says that you have to have 15 inches to the center of the bowl from any obstruction. Meaning, so the way this was, and this is code, I was curious, so I checked it. So this was code. It came out exactly 15 inches from the drywall, and then it was exactly 15 inches right to the actual trim. So it did have like another 2 inches or so. And then standard measurement to the bolt here is 12 inches. So if we were going to turn this thing, same thing, we'd have to have 30 inches minimum going this way. Well, you bring this out 60 inches, plus a little bit of the wall, and if you look down right here where I did this measurement, there's 30 inches. There, here, let me try to zoom in a little bit better. Okay, I was pointing at the wrong part. So here's 60 inches right here. Here's 30 inches from the drywall. That leaves 2 1/4 for the knee wall here. So I was a little concerned at first, thinking, okay, the studs themselves are going to be 2x4 is actually like 3.5 inches, but you actually just turn it sideways, and you're looking at like 1 3/4 inches, I think they are, or 1.5 inches. So you do that, and then we can use 1/2 inch drywall and totally be fine. So talk about just eking it out. And we don't do, on any of our renovations for our properties, anything that we're doing here, we don't mount the toilet paper holder. We just use the standalone ones. I don't know if that's just a new fad, but we like that. That's what we do. We don't like to damage any new cabinetry, any new walls that we put in. So anyway, having this sideways and having just 30 inches, we won't even have a toilet paper holder here or here on this knee wall. So we'll have no other obstructions. We'll be fine. So this just works out. And I may have mentioned in the first video, I can't recall, it was about a week ago, I think. But a neighbor had done a walk-in shower, and it's been probably 2 years ago or something like that since I saw it. I thought it was much more recently than that, but it wasn't. About 2 years ago. She turned her toilet sideways, but she did not have a bench. She only put in a 4-foot shower. So obviously 5 foot comes to here. These are 6 inch, this vinyl's 6 inch squares. So you're talking right here for 4 foot, and hers was a glass surround. So what is that? Maybe a half inch if she went with something heavy duty. So her toilet turned sideways. She would have had plenty of room, 42 inches or something like that. We're not going to have that luxury, but who cares? We have plenty of space in front. The vanity to be over here. It actually turns, another thing, using an elongated toilets like that we like to use. And the only reason we're getting rid of this one, this is actually a really good quality toilet, and we're going to keep this and end up just installing it in a one of our rentals. Any time a toilet goes bad, or any new ones that we pick up that need a toilet, because this is a really nice toilet. But it's like 30 inches also to the very front. And again, if you remember earlier, I said a measure, 30 inches comes to right about there. And so we did have the door on here, and when I swung it open, obviously you just can't swing it very far. It comes out straight. So we'll have, we keep the little door stoppers that go in the hinges. We'll just adjust that so the door won't go any further. We won't have to worry about banging into the toilet or anything. And it's too late these are brand new doors all over the place, so we don't want to go swapping out another new door and get one that swings this way. You'd have the same problem anyway, because your vanity's going to come just about to, where's the old vanity here? So that's about 20 inches here. You're running into the same issue anyway, so no big deal. Vanity-wise, we decided to go with 48 inches. Again, because of the door, we're going to, that was just one thing. Again, you get two minds going at it, trying to figure out what works best. The towel holder, the towel rack is going to be over here on this wall. So at first I thought, well, you'd want your door to swing up this way. So you open it up, you grab your towel, and there you go. But again, with the vanity going to be right here, 48 inches, runs to, I think this is the mark right here. It would be real close. So we did a whole bunch of measurements. Didn't mark anything down for this measurement, but it will work if we swing the door that way. It'll dodge us a 30-inch door, because actually that's what I read is a shower door. It says to give 30 inches. Oh, speaking of codes, measurements, that was another thing that we came across. Was you're supposed to, for handicap purposes, you're supposed to have 30-inch clearance between all obstructions. So from here to here had to be minimum 30 inches. Your door has to be minimum 30 inches. So that was another thing, going with a wider, because if you notice here, this said 36. We were thinking, okay, well, we'll go a 60 by 36 inch. And then obviously you have just another inch and a half or two here. Well, then we run into real close of 30 inches here, like really close. So we didn't even want to mess around with that. We're just going to go with the 32-inch wide. Excuse me. And as far as vanity, we're going with a standalone. So we found a really nice matching vanity. What size was that? 24-inch linen cabinet. Really good looking stuff. Pretty pleased with it. Haven't received it yet. We actually didn't even order it yet because it's a freestanding. The plumber does not need it here. It's 48 inches. He already knows that we're just gonna center this. This is centered for 30 inch, so I think it's at 15. So you're gonna go 9. If I remember correctly, I think that the cold water valve right there was right at 24. So we don't have to have it here, and we already have another vanity sitting out in our dining room right now in the box that's going to go to our upstairs bathroom for that renovation, which happens after this is finished. Excuse me. So anyway, we didn't want all that extra stuff here. We'll order that here in the next couple weeks. Speaking of the contractor, so contractors are always interesting to deal with, the whole thing. And side note, I have an upcoming video that I'm going to be recording discussing just that. Contractors, choosing contractors, some of the issues you come into, some of the questions to ask, some of the pricing, da 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 da. Anyway, that'll be, keep an eye out. That'll be in a video at some point here in the near future. Anyway, back to this. I went online, decided not to use any contractors that I use in any of my remods. This is my home, and I don't want to. I'm not going to say anything negative about my contractors except the one that we had here doing the things, doing most of this work here. That ultimately we had to just cut ties with because of issues he did. That's going to be another video with walking through our home renovations, everything that we did, issues we ran into. Yet another video that we'll have coming up. So let me try to get back to this at hand. Choosing contractor, I went online and contacted. I found like a referral service. I ended up reaching out to 5 different contracting companies. 3 of them seemed to be pretty large. Other 2 seemed to be kind of like mom and pop sized. Anyway, 3 of them contacted me. 2 of them got a hold of me the very first night, and of those 2, one showed up the next day. The other one then replied the day after that, so 2 days later, stating, "Oh, apologize, I'm so busy, da da da, what works for you?" I gave him my schedule for the week. Said, "Hey, pretty open. Just here's my phone number. Give me a call. We can figure it out." So that they disappeared. Never followed up. Then the third company got a hold of me the second day, and they asked, "What's my availability? Da da da. That's okay. When would be a good time? Normal stuff. Same spiel. Here's my schedule. I'm free. Here's my phone number. Call me, whatever." Well, the first company that contacted me and showed up the next day, they sent out a young dude, probably in his mid-20s, maybe late 20s, but he looked a little younger than that. And real nice dude, but he just kind of came in. I told him what's going on, what we were looking to do. He took a couple pictures, I guess you don't really need a lot, honestly, but he took a picture of here, and he took a picture of this, and actually, I think he just took 2 pictures of this one and then one of the over here, and then that was it. And one of the other things we have going on is right here. You see this plumbing? That's our kitchen, right on the other side of this wall here, and our original contractor didn't hook up our garbage disposal because he said that our waste line, which is right here coming from the sink, he said that would all need moved. So he just hooked up both sinks standard without the garbage disposal. Now, here's the thing. I don't even use a garbage disposal, to be honest with you. I'm so used to, we have strainers that sit down in our sink. We rinse our dishes off or scrape them garbage. We never use the garbage disposal anyway. However, there was already an outlet or already power for it in the countertop over here. And we decided, instead of cutting it and resizing the outlet and making a smaller box, just leave it. We'll run it, and for resale value, hey, you'll have a garbage disposal in there. Anyway, back to this first guy that showed up. So he took these 2 or 3 pictures in the bathroom, I think 3, and then he went and he looked over there. He peeked his head in. And he said, "Oh no, you don't need to move anything. We just change out some of these plumbing parts, and we'll be fine." I was like, "Okay, cool." He said, "Okay, I'll text these pictures to my boss, and he'll get you a quote tonight or tomorrow." I said, "Okay." The very next morning, there was a quote, just like he said. and it was on the high end, like at the very peak high end of what we were expecting to pay. And didn't mean I wrote them off. It was just on the high end. There is a lot of work here. However, in that quote, for the toilet, he didn't mention that you have to move the drain line. And I can't recall what that's called right now. But anyway, it's the drain. I mean, it's usually 4-inch, sometimes 3-inch, goes down on the ground. That needs moved. He didn't state that. So the bid just showed turn toilet reattached to the flange for, I don't know what, a couple $100. Nothing to do with moving that. So I sent a message and said, hey, just curious, this didn't say, oh, that was a misunderstanding. It's going to be this much now. Well, now that put us even a couple $100 more, and now we're beyond that very high point of what we were looking to do. So I was like, okay. I didn't say yay or nay. I wanted to wait. Another guy showed up the following day. It was the company that delayed, actually, and I'm confusing myself now because I'm talking to so many people. So anyway, when the second guy showed up, super, super cool guy. Could tell he's very knowledgeable. He took all the pictures. He had his measuring tape out. He was like, yeah, we can do this. We can do that. Like all this other stuff. I even showed him a little bit of some future work that we want to do, like in the springtime when it warms up out in the garage with a slop sink, yada, yada, yada. Super, super cool guy. I really liked him a lot. I felt pretty confident about this guy. All right, man. I'll send you the quote. What's your good email address again? Gave it to him. And never heard back. So that's been 2 days ago. And that's not a good sign. So anyway, the other companies, of the people, 2 of the 5 original never even responded. The third company that was kind of pushing me out, they never followed up again, so I have nothing scheduled with them. However, I did have a third person here, a neighbor of mine, and I'm sorry I'm just kind of like pointing aimlessly at the same crap over and over again. Not very exciting. But anyway, my neighbor has a plumber that was a commercial plumber for, she said, like 30 years. Got in touch with him. Sounded like a really cool guy. He showed up the next day as promised, right on time. Super, super nice guy. Came in, very knowledgeable. Liked his experience. He came in, he looked at all this stuff. He was here for, probably 30 minutes. Very thorough. He wanted to look at this stuff and see. And one of the things he pointed out that I had asked that very first, that young guy, about, and he kind of blew over, like, oh, no, that's common, no big deal. And that was the end of it. Well, this guy, when he looked at this, he said, you know what, I haven't done a whole ton of residential. He said, but I've never seen that before. So what he thinks happened is, you see this is perfectly boxed out. He thinks these contractors, when they built this, they missed. So they had that blocked up for the drain. Maybe they were going to, who knows what the layout was going to be. But they messed up, so they had to bust all this out to get the actual drain over here. And then they missed here. You should be coming up through the footer there. But they didn't. So they came here. It's soft copper. So they just kind of heated it up and bent it. And then the hard shell base here, fiberglass, it fit perfectly. It was like right on there. So his concern was, where it spiders off, we don't know exactly the direction that this all goes. He dug around in here a little bit, couldn't find it. He suspected the same thing I did, that they just spidered off of there and ran it over here to this one. Again, for the 1,000th time, I'm no plumber. That was just a guess of me thinking, oh, well, that saved them the hassle of a home run in a slab. But who knows? He thought that same thing, but he said he didn't want to ultimately just take that as for granted that that's what he's going to run into. Ultimately, he gave me a price, super, super, super good price. We're just going to go with him. So really happy about that. You always got to worry when you have some bids come in, or even though we only officially had one bid, which was within the range I thought it was going to be by looking online, and there are sites, and again, I'll have this information in the video regarding contractors, but there's a video that you can go online, put in your zip code. It'll tell you kind of the low to mid to high range you can expect for what the type of work you're wanting to be done. So this guy gave us a super, super competitive price beyond the lower end of it. And he sounds like he really sounds knowledgeable. So we're going to go with that, which is great. Anytime you can save money is great. Anyway, he's going to be here. I believe he's going to start tomorrow with, what the heck? Oh, he's going to do the garbage disposal. He's going to go ahead and do that. He said that's like an hour's worth of work. He'll have that done, get it out of the way. And then in a couple days, he's going to do this, because what he's going to do here, apparently, because my concern, as you see the flue or waistline, and I guess that's the flue vent right here. But anyway, with this stud here and then having to bring this over to here, and then the copper being on the left side and right beside it, I thought he was going to have to bust this all up, reroute it, bring them up through the footer. But he said no. Using PEX, there's enough room back here. There's a little bit more than a ½ inch. He said he's able to cut this off, extend it, and bring it here. And then these here, he'll be able to cut here, extend it over, and then here, he's going to do the same thing, cut it up, and then bring it somewhere along the lines in here, wherever he's got the room, and PEX it, and have it come out somewhere in here. So, and he did teach me something new. These metal plates here, I ran into it over here when I was demoing. And common sense, after he told me, I felt like an idiot, as usual. But he said, yeah, when I have to cut these out, because if you notice the studs here, this is a little bit wider. This is a little narrow. This is probably 16-inch right here. But this is only like 12-inch or something on center. So he said he may have to, when he notches it all out, he may have to put these plates, and I can't remember what he called the plates, but they are there to prevent contractors coming up with drywall guys and screwing right into plumbing or electrical or whatever. That's there to protect it. So it's metal plating for that. Interesting. Learned something new. Maybe you did too. The plan now is we ordered the shower pan, because it has to be here for him to know exactly where to center this. It's a 7 to 10 days out, according to Tile Ready. That's the brand we went with. Once it gets here, he'll come back, start on that part. Before then, he said he'll have everything else done. The toilet, when you take this up, you tear that out and reroute it, re-pour the concrete, you give it like 2-3 days to harden all up. It'll be a little while before we put the toilet on anyway, because once the shower's in, we then have to do tile flooring before you put toilet in and all that stuff. So one final thing I will mention is my video didn't really go up too high in any of this stuff. I didn't do any of this demo here because, again, being in a condo association, we have our own garbage can. Well, breaking up drywall fills up garbage bags like this, fills them up very quickly. We had literally, I'd say, a dozen garbage bags of garbage, drywall and mess from just this. Didn't even take the light down yet, obviously, because we're using it. Didn't touch back here yet either. we waited till trash night, which was 4 nights ago. We filled up a neighbor of ours only had like one bag in hers, so we put like 4 bags in hers. Ours was full, and then the next morning, trash came. I brought my can back, filled it up immediately. We still have a couple bags laying on the floor, plus our regular house trash. This upcoming in a couple days trash day, we're gonna hopefully clear out what we have, and then I can come in here and demo all this stuff out, and get this out of here and run our new electrical, and hopefully that'll be good. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end right there. I just realized this video is over 30 minutes long. I can't, it's god awful. If you're even still awake at this point, I'll be surprised. So what I may do is break this into parts 2 and 3. We'll see. But anyway, really appreciate you stopping by. I'll learn how to speak, I guess, one of these days. Anyway, really appreciate you stopping by, checking out our real estate journey. And subscribe if you'd like. And we'll catch you next time. See ya.